What do you do when right from birth, life seems to be stacked up against you? Do you give up, give in, or do you fight back? Take time to think about your answer, as this is what we're going to be talking about today. Saying yes when life says no. This is the Joe Abass Show, and it's your life by design. Living life on your own terms. Don't forget, the Joe Abass Show is brought to you by courtesy of the LBD Group and its partners, AfriCell, REC Bank, AYV Media Empire, and the station you are watching or listening this show on.
Yeah, Mix Plus. Now there's free data in the mix for you, plus voice and SMS. Get free 45 megabytes, 150 SMS, and 3 minutes talk time daily for 1,990 leons. 110 megabytes, 250 SMS, and 5 minutes talk time daily for 2,990 leons only. Dial *99 hash to choose from your preferred AfriRadio Yeah Mix Plus bundle. Yeah Mix Plus. We mix it. You use it. Terms and conditions apply. To know more, call 111.
AfriCell. Now we network.
Welcome back. Our guest today lost his father before he was 2, shot by rebels, and had an arm amputated by age 3, lived in a refugee camp for several years, and became a victim of child trafficking. He begged in the streets of Freetown, all before age 10. In 2021, he defied all odds to graduate with a bachelor's degree in social work from the Fourah Bay College, University of Sierra Leone, and is now in his first year at the law school in Sierra Leone, aiming to become the first ever amputee to bag a law degree in Sierra Leone. How is this possible? That's a big question we want to explore today as I welcome my guest to the show, Mr. Abass Sesay.
Thank you very much.
Abass, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I met with you in 2021 when you just graduated. Maybe let's start with that.
Okay.
Let's live through the emotions. What it felt like. What it felt like to, given what I've just said. Just go through again what it felt like to be graduating that day. Just replay a little for us.
Well, graduating on that day, for me, I actually see it as a normal day.
Was it a normal day? Why?
No,
Why
when it started
like a normal day.
It started like a normal day. I mean, there are a lot of us going to graduate after all. So I put on my dress, go to college, and immediately I reached up university. I mean, everybody was looking at me. Everybody stared. Everybody was in surprise and awe, and I couldn't help but started realizing that maybe this day is about me. Although, of course, it's a lot of people.
There were thousands.
By the end of the day, it was really emotional for me, and I really feel that I've done something great by the way people were complimenting me, including friends, people I don't even know that we graduated together. So I personally feel it's an emotional moment. You know, it brings mixed feelings. By the end of the day, it motivates people, a lot of people, and I'm happy for that.
Very happy for that. So that's 2021. Let's go back to 1999, January 6th,
Okay.
and begin to live. The story started before you actually even were knowledgeable enough to know what was happening to you.
Sure.
You said your dad was shot by rebels. Of course, this is stories that have been told to you by your mom.
Yeah.
Where were they staying originally, your parents?
My parents, they stay. My mother came from
Moyamba.
Mambolo.
Where were you born?
I was born in Moyamba.
You were born in Moyamba.
The village of my father.
Okay, and that's where they had the first rebel attack.
Yes.
You were born by then.
Yeah, I was born.
Then your father got killed
Sure.
in an attack by the rebels in Moyamba.
Exactly.
And very sad story. That's what I was just saying. What it feels like. You're stepping out just from out of the gate, and then life shuts the door against you, and just limiting what you'll be able to achieve. Tough story. So your dad died. Could have been around between 1 and 2 years of age. That's when you lost your dad. Your mom ran down to Freetown.
Yeah.
Stayed with, stayed at Calabar Town.
With my grandma.
Then your grandmother moved to join her at Calabar Town. Then what happened once you were at Calabar Town?
Well, I will have to take you back to
Go
the
ahead.
camp, because that was when I realized I had the sense to ask my mother when we were at the refugee camp.
Okay.
Aberdeen, yeah. So I grew up seeing myself different from other kids. So I had to ask my mom what really led to me being an amputee. At first, she was hesitant not to tell me.
Yeah, she didn't want to tell
Yeah,
you.
she thought I was too young to know the story. But I had to force her repeatedly. Then one day she sat me down in the room and she started explaining that her and my grandma were living at Calbatown just after the rebel broke out. They came from the province, that is my to Calbatown. They lived there for some time, thinking the war may only end
In
at the
Boyamba.
province. Yeah, in the province. It was unfortunately at one night. In the evening, she was cooking, my grandma was in. Then they started hearing gunshots around the community. The rebels came from the bush, started killing people, raping women.
In a Calabar
Town.
Yeah, the average Calabar.
Yeah, the rebels were raping women and girls and the burning houses. My mother was so afraid, as she explained. She was crying. She told me they had to run for safety together with my grandma. My grandma took me, they ran down the hills. Then they find an unfinished building with a basement. You know those unfinished buildings that has basement. So she decided to hid themselves there so that the rebels would not locate them. We stayed there with other people who were also hiding or fleeing from the rebels. We stayed there until nightfall. Then I started crying. My mother said I started crying. I've not eaten since the whole of the day. So when I was crying, the people were so afraid. They had to tell my mother to either make sure I keep quiet or they kick them out, because they too were afraid that the rebel will
expose where
it
they're
will
hiding.
expose them. Yes. So upon that, my mother decided to go fetch me water, and my grandma said she would not let her daughter go alone. She decided to follow her in search of water. I was on the back of my grandma. They were looking for water in the bush. Then the rebels saw them. They told them to stop, or they will kill them if they decide to run. My mama was panicked. She decided to flee. When they started running, the rebels shoot at them. They started shooting at them. Being that I was on the back of my grandma, and she literally served as a human shield. The bullets hit her. She died instantly. And most of the bullets hit my ribs, both my ribs, and also my arm, plus my head was also
Your grandma died instantly.
in the spot.
She must have been taking the shots from the front.
Yeah.
Most of the bullets were coming from the front, and you were on her back, straps on her back, and she died instantly.
Yes.
Your mom had to flee.
Yes, she fled. Then the rebels also had a family they had wanted to kill.
Another family.
Another family. By the name, the head of the family, the husband, name was Adikali. Yes, Adikali.
They were going to kill that.
They were going to kill them, yes. And they were on the verge of doing that when they had a baby crying on the bush. I was crying. It was really, I don't really know what came over the rebels by then, because it is unlikely for rebels to be merciful during those times. They told the man, Adikali, that they are going to spare him and his family if they could take me to safety, to the hospital, so they will save my life. They gave him a pass, where in case they encounter any rebels, they have to show them the pass. So that is how they literally take me from that position to the hospital.
To Connaught Hospital.
To Connaught Hospital.
And you said your mom actually fled.
Yeah, she fled.
Now,
she fled
and she thought you had
died.
She
thought I wouldn't make it. It was after the war. The government created a refugee camp at Aberdeen camp for all war victims and war wounded.
That's how you got reunited again.
Well,
let's just track your path again from Adikali and family, because we tried just now to be able to track him.
Yeah.
Because that was a very solid story. So his life and the life of his family was spared because the rebels found out you were alive. They were not supposed to show pity, but they did show pity.
Yeah.
on you that you were still alive, even though the grandma had been killed, the mom had fled, to say, take this child to hospital, and that would be your pass to us not killing you.
Cool.
And it's amazing. So we wanted to be able to track Pa Adikali. You know his kids, his sons.
Yes, I know his son. I know one. I do call him Adikali, but his nickname is Jason. I talk to him almost regularly. He's an IT student right now. So we are friends, and I see him as a brother already.
And his father. So you've been calling him your brother.
Yeah. We've been talking, and the last time I asked him about Mr. Adikali, and he told me he's now working in the mining sector at Wutai. So I think we've lost communication for over 6 years now.
But if you're talking to his sons, we should be able to still talk to him.
Yeah,
we will try.
It's possible.
We will try to get him to get his own side of the story, because it's an unbelievable journey for a young man to go through, and we would definitely try to get that. So Mr. Adikali got his own life in exchange for taking you to safety, and then you go to the hospital. There's not much you remember at the hospital. How long did you stay in Connaught? You can't even remember. But they ended up amputating.
Yeah, because he told me the arm was severely damaged beyond repair, so they had to take it off. As a young boy, I had a very weak bone. Because he told me that, so that is why they decided to take the arm off.
Very sad. Now, as you grow older, they had to move you to the camp. How did you get to move to the camp from Connaught Hospital? Explain that.
From Connaught, I lived with Mr. Adikali and his family for some time at the camp there. But it was time for Mr. Adikali to live his life with his family. They had to leave the camp because the camp was made purely for victims, war amputees and war wounded. So he decided to hand me over to a woman named Dora. Yeah. So Dora was supposed to take care of me because she also was a victim of the war and her husband. So I lived with them, with Dora for some time. It was later part. My mother came again, and my mother already knew I was safe. She came.
And let's talk about how you got reunited again with your mom. You said you said with Adikali.
Yeah.
And then they said government was registering.
Government was registering all victims of the war, all displaced children, because after the war there were a lot of displacements of children and family members couldn't tell where their family members are. So it was then Adikali took me to the camp to do the registration. That was what led them to have a place to stay. First start at the camp. So they registered me and they announced my name on the registration that we have a child here by the name of Abass Sesay. If you know he's your son, come see him. He's alive. My mother had the news. After the war, everybody was on the news, on the radio. So my mother came to Aberdeen camp. She saw me. But she told me she couldn't take me from the family. I was in a very miserable state, she said. And she doesn't want to be ungrateful, so just take me from them just after the war and what they have done to save my life. So she decided to leave me with them to stay with them for some time.
And another thing you said is that you were amongst the kids that were actually taken to Lome for the signing of the peace accord, along with Memunatu Mansare McShane, who we've actually screened her story here on the show. She became a poster child when Amati Jankaba, blessed memory, went to sign the peace accord in Lome. They took her along, and you said you were also.
Yes, I was part of the team, but she was shown to the world.
Being a girl,
yeah.
It was much more emotional. Sure. But you said you were amongst the team that went there. Sure. And what does it feel like to have her go to the program that government organized at that point in time? She went to Canada, and then she's transformed, and then you got left. You came back. You left behind, and you came back to Sierra Leone, and then the suffering began for you. What does it feel like?
At the start, I felt left out. I was really, really broken. I thought maybe this is me. This is what I was supposed to be, a failure. I almost gave up in life, and during the course of that transition of adapting to the fact that this is who I am, disabled, I have to live with this with others in the camp. That was when a program, and people were coming from other countries to take children from Sierra Leone, to adopt them and all. So during the course of the program itself, before even Memuna to go to overseas, I was trafficked to Senegal by Dora. Dora sold me
The
out.
lady
Yes.
said, instead of organizing the stuff that should have taken you to
Yes.
Canada, and then
She sold me out.
she ended up in Ghana, Senegal,
yes.
through a couple in Monrovia. In Monrovia.
Yeah, so-
And you were talking about that there's some Sierra Leoneans that you were in school together in
Yeah,
Senegal at that point in
The
time.
last time I went for housemate audition 2 years ago, I met Phoebe as well. Unknowingly, because I couldn't remember. She told me, I know you somewhere. Then she said, yes, from Monrovia. I think we attended the same school and all. I said, I shook my head because I know I was there.
Now, so you went to that and you had to come back and take us from there. How your mother had to fight for you to come back because he knew you were in Senegal and it wasn't a resettlement program that you had gone for at all.
So I was actually in Senegal going to school, to the care school. And my mother explained that when she was coming to the camp to check on me, to know what's going on concerning the program that was supposed to take me to Canada with the other children, she realized that I was not taken to Canada, but rather another country. And when she asked the woman, Dora, who was taking care of me, she said she asked her, and the woman said, don't worry, Abass is in a very safe place. In fact, a much more better place than
Canada.
So he's doing well, he's going to school, My mother first decided to agree, but she told me as time passed by, how could he have a son in the overseas studying and couldn't get in contact with his mother? So she started asking this question. Then she came again to Dora and asked, can I please know a contact that can I have a
call.
contact?
Yeah.
I can call, talk
So
to
could just
Abass,
confirm
yes.
what's happening to my
to
son.
know if my son is okay. Then Dora she has no answer to give.
So she
No
finally moved.
communication.
She got a photo of you with this family.
She later, when she threatened her, then Dora, I think, called and asked that the mother of Abass is asking for a picture to know how the son is doing. Can you please send a photo? They snapped me and the family together. They sent the photo. So Dora had to show my mother.
You said your mom looked at it and saw
Yes,
you were not happy.
She saw the picture. She told me she watched the picture and she knew I was not happy. She told me the way I stood on the picture was far from the family a bit, and I wasn't smiling and all. Then she had to tell Dora that I need my son back in Sierra Leone.
No matter what happens.
No matter what, I want my son to come back. Dora has nothing to do, so my mother had to cry.
And so she went to a couple of people, the UN, the Red Cross, and with the support of Catholic priest Father Maurice Yeboah of the Missionary Friends Association, fought to make sure you came back to Freetown. You said somebody went to pick you up in Senegal. Who was the person?
A man was sent by the name of Michael.
Do you remember?
I remember his name. I remember when he went to Senegal and he told me, "You're Abass,
Are you still in contact with him?
No, since I came back, first I was in contact, but we lost contact.
So Emmanuel, watch this space. This young man is trying to track you. You're a critical part of the story that's been evolving all this while. So you were brought back to Freetown.
Yeah. Sure.
It wasn't still easy.
It was not easy because when I come back from Senegal, there were a lot of people in the camp, journalists were gathered, But I was particular to know what's the problem. In my head, I thought I've left my home to come to a new place. Yeah, because I was taken there young, and I've lived there for 2 years. I couldn't remember anything again. Then I was looking at my mother, the way she was so happy, holding me like this, telling me, "Na Mamasu, Abass, you don't know me." And I was looking at her in a very strange way.
You see him, you couldn't even
Yes, I couldn't
recognize
recognize this is my mother. Except as time progresses, I saw the way she puts the effort to show love to me. I mean, that's the only way a mother is the only person that knows how to show a better love to their kids.
Nobody else can.
Nobody else.
Like nobody else
So
can.
I watch at all the way she does things and all. Then I really come to the realization that yes, this is my mother.
When did you begin to go beg in the streets?
It was when I come back from Senegal. I stayed with my mother. Life has taught me that I'm a disabled. I move from places and all, so I'm not static at all. I did not want to go to school when I come back from Senegal.
You never wanted to go to school. Your mom remarried, but it was a difficult relationship.
It was a very difficult, very abusive one. They fight a lot, quarrel. My mother got beaten almost every day with strong words at home. You know.
That's how you got moved to father.
Yes, later. That is the later part. After Aberdeen camp, we went to Kabatown to live with the new man my mother abused.
Then when did you move to the orphanage?
Well, my mother decided that this is not a life for me. To live with her, she knew if she decided to take care of me, that maybe she wouldn't have done it the best way or the right way.
So she took you to the.
She sought out for help to the same priest that
helped brought you to Freetown
to bring me back
from Senegal. So it's the same priest that now put you in the school environment and sent you to, you said Delhi?
Yeah, Delhi.
That's where you started?
I attended primary school at Delhi and later...
Delhi preparatory school?
Delhi preparatory.
That's where you attended. And you said primary school, what class did you start?
Prep 4, class 5.
That's how you started?
Yeah. I started from class 1 to prep 4. That is class 5. Then, because of some issues and all, our father decided to take us...
To move you to another school?
To another school.
Defying gravity, saying yes when life says no. Tough story, heartbreaking one, but one of resilience and fight back. Stay with us.
In changing and uncertain times, you need a bank that is forward-looking and preemptive. No matter the lockdowns or travel restrictions, RC Bank has you covered. With our mobile and online payment systems, you don't have to worry. With RC Bank SIM Corpo and Visa cards, your life does not have to be locked down. You can continue to make payments and shop from the comfort of wherever you are. With RC Bank online platforms, social distancing is enhanced, as you can do most transactions online just as you can do in the bank buildings. You can print your statements, check your balances, make transfers or payments. RC Bank, we have you covered.
Welcome back. It's the Joe Abass Show, and guest today on the show is Abass Sesay. You've been hearing his story on the series Defying Gravity, saying yes when life says no. We've already gone through the harrowing moments that he's gone through in his life. That he had to lose his father at age 2, killed by rebels. He himself had to be shot, lost his grandma in the process, but had to be shot in the arm, amputated by age 3. Lived in refugee camp for several years, victim of child trafficking, begged in the streets of Freetown. But 2021, graduated with a bachelor's degree in social work at the Fourah Bay College. What fight does it take to be able to do that? That's inspiration we're bringing you today. You've been involved in poetry and TikTok, demonstrating some of these things that you've been doing, how you're knotting your ties yourself, you tying your shoelace for yourself, and all of those things, and which is very, very inspirational. There are a couple of stuff that you said you've done. January 6th, that's a January 6th poem, and it's spoken words, a conversation with God, a warrior's war. I'd like to listen to all of those, by the way. A letter to my younger self, dear men, etc., etc. Now, what would I like to do? Take a pause if we have time for this, but we'll take a pause and just screen a little of what you did on the stuff on January 6th. Watch this.
January 6th. I can still remember the hate in their fingers when the warders badge of honor on me. It was a brutal merit, a verdict of unconscious merriment and injustice. Soul injured, burned bridges, they left me unpacked with eyelid and bruised kneecap. Couldn't turn back because they burned down my bridge. Do I really deserve this golden badge of honor? January 6th. Boom, boom, everywhere like hearts beat. They are gone blitz, but with a different language of I hate you. They break me. Crave to put forth my future at stake. I could have been a basketball player, an instrumentalist, a doctor, an engineer, and many more. They literally killed my dreams. Tick, tick every night, time whispered on my ears. Tell me not to worry, for I am the best doctor, it says. Do I really deserve this golden badge of honor? January 6th, I was only 3 when they came through with nothing to bargain for but a will so free I wish. They let my blood be the signature to a treaty between chaos and solidarity. A solidarity to peace, they say, a peace I cannot find, as others thrill with love the likes of fear. Stereotypes, stigmatization, doubt every day they attack. Do I really deserve this golden badge of honor? January 6th. An event that left a mark on the forehead of our nation, exposing this land and its people to the invasion of corrupt mind. Men with the gift of a wordsmith, architecture to our blood spill, but when it comes to giving, they are as stingy as ironsmith. I have blatantly refused to accept anything they say weigh me down. Thus, I have this to say. When our fate meet destiny, we sometimes feel the entire world must be wrong, and it wasn't our time. But we must not let these sparks of stereotypes lead our minds into oceans of frustrations, but rather, we must have the courage to mix anger with sympathy, hate with compassion, and above all, we must love. Do I really deserve this golden badge of honor?
Wow, Abass. that was a great one, and so moved, or so inspired to have heard you say that, and you definitely go in places. And we want to end with your final challenge to young men, young women, youth in the country. What's your word to them? Now they are able-bodied, but they're complaining more than you. they are able-bodied. You know, your ambition is 10 times what they would have as an ambition, because they think they are victim, and look at you. So what do you have for them?
Well, I will tell them to refuse to accept what society tells them. You can be more than what you really imagine right now. There's lots awaits you. That impossibility is a word that doesn't exist if you really try to think and look at everything that is happening around you. I'm encouraging everybody, every young youth out there, to really refocus their energy on something better rather than the everyday hustle or struggle of the system. The system is unfavorable for everybody in the whole world. You only have to make it the odds in your favor when you decide to accept change and grow in it. Adaptation is the best tool any man can use. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us today on the show. Don't forget that the Joe Abass Show is powered by Life by Design Group, LBD Group, and its partners. We are a trusted strategic business support services partner providing the full spectrum of needs that are critical to the success of any business or organization, which is higher sales, increased revenues, and highly productive staff, and impactful brand positioning, which we'll do for you. The 4 companies that are in this group are Life by Design, Inky Media, IDT Labs, and Grow Salon. Call us today. Numbers are on your screen, and we say it's LBD Group is when results matter. If results matter to you, we're the people you should talk to. Telephone number info at 030-600-600, email info@lbd.group. Now for our parting words today, I'll bring to you quotations, maybe 2 quotations to close with. The first one is, to have endured horrors, to have seen the worst of humanity, and have your life made unrecognizable by it, to come out of all that honorable and brave. That was magical. That is by Ransom Riggs. And the next quote I give you as my parting word today is by Dinos Christianopoulos. Dinos Christianopoulos, he says, they tried to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds. What happens when you bury seed? They tried to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds. I think that rightly tells Abass's story, and that rightly tells your story if you would refuse to be a victim and fight back like Abass is fighting back and never give up in spite of what's happening to them. Well, that's all we have time for you on today's show. It's been a lovely, lovely time with you, sharing inspiration and building your ability to be able to just create the life, your life you desire, life on your own terms. Join us for the next edition of the show as we provide you with more and more inspiring stories and tools that help you design your own life and live life on your own terms. Your life by design. Don't forget to join us online. The conversation continues there on our social media handles and channels all over there on your screen. On behalf of our partners and sponsors, LBD Group and AfriCell, RSC Bank, AYV Media Empire, and the station you're getting the show on, I have been your host, Joe Abass. Till next time, stay blessed.